network behavior and anomaly detection, a security monitoring tool that monitors network packets for anonymous behavior based on unknown signatures. Heuristics, a method that uses feature comparisons and likenesses rather than specific signature matching to identify whether the target of observation is malicious. Trend analysis, the process of detecting patterns within a data set over time and using those patterns to make predictions about future events or to better understand past events. Web filtering, a software application or gateway that filters client requests for various types of internet content. Configuration baselines, settings for services and policy configuration for a network appliance or for a server operating in a particular application role. Isolation, removing or severely restricting communication paths to a particular device or system. Isolation. Antivirus, inspecting traffic to locate and block viruses. Antivirus. Full disk encryption, FDE, encryption of all data on a disk, including system files, temporary files, and the page file, can be accomplished via a supported operating system, third-party software, or at the controller level by the disk device itself. Full disk encryption. Self-encrypting drives, a disk drive where the controller can automatically encrypt data that is written to it. Self-encrypting drives. Key encryption key. In storage encryption, the private key that is used to encrypt the symmetric bulk media encryption key. This means that a user must authenticate to decrypt the MEK and access the media. Key encryption key. Opal, standards for implementing device encryption on storage devices. Opal. Patches, a small unit of supplemental code meant to address either a security problem or a functionality flaw in a software package or operating system. Patches. Patch management, identifying, testing, and deploying operating systems and application updates. Patches are often classified as critical, security critical, recommended, and optional. Patch management. Endpoint detection and response, a software agent that collects system data and logs for analysis by monitoring systems to provide early detection of threats. Endpoint detection and response, EDR. Host-based intrusion detection, HIDS, a type of IDS that monitors a computer system for unexpected behavior or drastic changes to the system's state. Host-based intrusion detection. Host-based intrusion prevention, endpoint protection that can detect and prevent malicious activity via signature and heuristic pattern matching. Host-based intrusion prevention. File integrity monitoring, a type of software that reviews system files to ensure that they have not been tampered with. File integrity monitoring. User and entity behavior analysis, analytics, a system that can provide automated identification of suspicious activity by user accounts and computer hosts. User and entity behavior analytics. Chmod. Linux command for managing file permissions. Chmod. Allow list. A security configuration where access is denied to any entity unless the entity appears on a whitelist. Allow list. Block list. A security configuration where access is generally permitted to a software process, IP, domain, or other subject unless it is listed as explicitly prohibited. Block list. SE Linux. The default context-based permission scheme provided with CentOS operating systems and Red Hat Enterprise Linux. SEL Linux. Host-based firewalls. A software application running on a single host and designed to protect only that host. Host-based firewalls. Bring your own device. Security framework and tools to facilitate use of personally owned devices to access corporate networks and data. Bring your own device. Corporate owned business only. Enterprise mobile device provisioning model where the device is the property of the organization and personal use is prohibited. Corporate owned business only. Corporate owned personally enabled. Enterprise mobile device provisioning model where the device remains the property of the organization but certain personal use such as private email, social networking, and web browsing is permitted. Corporate owned personally enabled. Choose your own device. Enterprise mobile device provisioning model where employees are offered a selection of corporate devices for work and optionally private use. Choose your own device. Mobile device management. Process and supporting technologies for tracking, controlling, and securing the organization's mobile infrastructure. Mobile device management. Indoor positioning system. Technology that can derive a device's location when indoors by triangulating its proximity to radio sources such as Bluetooth beacons or Wi-Fi access points. Indoor positioning system. Geofencing. Security control that can enforce a virtual boundary based on real-world geography. Geofencing. Cellular. Standards for implementing data access over cellular networks are implemented as successive generations. For 2G, up to about 48 kilobytes. 3G, up to 42 megabytes. There are competing GSMs and CDMA provider networks. Standards for 4G is up to 90 megabytes, and 5G is up to 300 megabytes, are developed under converged LTE standards. Cellular. Global positioning system. A means of determining a receiver's position on Earth based on information received from orbital satellites. Global positioning system. Personal area networks, PANs. A network scope that uses close-range wireless technologies to establish communications between personal devices such as smartphones, laptops, and printers. Personal area networks. ADHOC network. A type of wireless network where connected devices communicate directly with each other instead of over an established medium. Ad hoc network. Tethering. Using the cellular data plan of a mobile device to provide internet access to a laptop or PC. The PC can be tethered to the mobile by USB, Bluetooth, or Wi-Fi. Tethering. Bluetooth. Short-range wireless radio network transmission medium normally used to connect two personal devices such as a mobile phone or a wireless headset. Bluetooth. Bluejacking. Sending an unsolicited message or picture message using a Bluetooth connection. Bluejacking. Blue snarfing. A wireless attack where an attacker gains access to unauthorized information on a device using a Bluetooth connection. Blue snarfing. Near field communication, NFC. A standard for two-way radio communications over very short distances, facilitating contactless payment and similar technologies. NFC is based on RFID. Near field communication. Transport layer security, TLS. Security protocol that uses certificates for authentication and encryption to protect web communications and other application protocols. Transport layer security. Cipher suite. List of cryptographic algorithms that a server and client can use to negotiate a secure connection. Cipher suite. LDAP secure. A method of implementing LDAP using SSL TLS encryption. LDAP secure. Simple network management protocol. Application protocol used for monitoring and managing network devices. Simple network management protocol. File transfer protocol. Application protocol used to transfer files between network hosts. Variants include secure FTP, SSL, and T utilizes ports 20 and 21. File transfer protocol. Secure file transfer protocol. A secure version of the file transfer protocol that uses a secure shell tunnel as an encryption method to transfer, access, and manage files. Secure file transfer protocol. Implicit TLS. A type of FTP using TLS for confidentiality. Implicit TLS. Simple mail transfer protocol. Application protocol used to send mail between hosts on the internet. Messages are sent between servers over TCP port 25 or submitted by a mail client over secure port TCP 587. Simple mail transfer protocol. Post office protocol, V3. Application protocol that enables a client to download email messages from a server mailbox to a client over port TCP 110 or secure port TCP 995. Post office protocol. Internet message access protocol. Application protocol providing a means for a client to access and manage email messages stored in a mailbox on a remote server. Internet message access protocol. Sender policy framework. A DNS record identifying host authorized to send mail for the domain. Sender policy framework. Domain keys identified mail. A cryptographic authentication mechanism for mail utilizing a public key published as a DNS record. Domain keys identified mail. domain-based message authentication, reporting, and conformance. Framework for ensuring proper application of SPF and KD and DKIM utilizing a policy published as a DNS record. Domain-based message authentication, reporting, and conformance. Data loss prevention. A software solution that detects and prevents sensitive information from being stored on unauthorized systems or transmitted over unauthorized networks. Data loss prevention. DNS security extensions. Security protocol that provides authentication of DNS data and upholds DNS data integrity. DNS security extensions. Input validation. Any technique used to ensure that the data entered into a field or variable in an application is handled appropriately by that application. Input validation. Cookies. A text file used to store information about a user when they visit a website. Some sites use cookies to support user sessions. Cookies. Code signing. The method of using a digital signature to ensure the source and integrity of programming code. Code signing. Data exposure. A software vulnerability where an attacker is able to circumvent access controls and retrieve confidential or sensitive data from the file system or database. Data exposure. Exceptions. An application vulnerability that is defined by how an application responds to unexpected errors that can lead to holes in the security of an app. Exceptions. Structured exception handler. A mechanism to account for unexpected error conditions that might arise during code execution. Effective error handling reduces the chances that a program could be exploited. Structured exception handler. Sandboxing. A computing environment that is isolated from a host system to guarantee that the environment runs in a controlled, secure fashion. Communication links between the sandbox and the host are usually completely prohibited so that malware or faulty software can be analyzed in isolation and without risk to the host. Sandboxing. Incident. An event that interrupts standard operations or compromises security policy. Incident. Incident response lifecycle. Procedures and guidelines covering appropriate priorities, actions, and responsibilities in the event of security incidents, divided into preparation, detection, analysis, containment, eradication, recovery, and lessons learned stages. Incident response lifecycle. Preparation. An incident response process that hardens systems, defines policies and procedures, establishes lines of communication, and puts resources in place. Preparation. Call list. A document listing authorized contacts for notification and collaboration during a security incident. Call list. Incident response plan. Specific procedures that must be performed in a certain type of event is detected or reported. Incident response plan. Detection. An incident response process that correlates event data to determine whether they are indicators of an incident. Detection. First responder. The first experienced person or team to arrive at the scene of an incident. First responder. Analysis. An incident response process in which indicators are assessed to determine validity, impact, and category. Analysis. Kill chain. A model developed by Lockheed Martin that describes the stages by which a threat actor progresses to a network intrusion. Kill chain. Playbook. A checklist of actions to perform to detect and respond to a specific type of incident. Playbook. Sinkhole. A DOS attack mitigation strategy that directs the traffic that is flooding a target IP address to a different network for analysis. Sinkhole. Eradication. An incident response process in which malicious tools and configurations on hosts and networks are removed. Eradication. Recovery. An incident response process in which hosts, networks, and systems are brought back to a secure baseline configuration. Recovery. Yes. Lessons learned report. An analysis of events that can provide insight into how to improve response and support processes in the future. Lessons learned report. Root cause analysis. A technique used to determine the true cause of the problem that, when removed, prevents the problem from occurring again. Root cause analysis. Threat hunting. A cybersecurity technique designed to detect the presence of threats that have not been discovered by normal security monitoring. Threat hunting. Intelligence fusion. In threat hunting, using sources of threat intelligence data to automate detection of adversary LOCs and TTPs. Intelligence fusion. Maneuver. In threat hunting, the concept that threat actor and defender may use deception or counterattacking strategies to gain positional advantage. Maneuver. Forensics. The process of gathering and submitting computer evidence for trial. Digital evidence is latent, meaning that it must be interpreted. This means that great care must be taken to prove that the evidence has not been tampered with or falsified. Forensics. Due process. A term used in the United States common law to require that people only be convicted of crimes following the fair application of the laws of the land. Due process. Legal hold. A process designed to prevent all relevant information when litigation is reasonably expected to occur. Legal hold. Data acquisition. In digital forensics, the method and tools used to create a forensically sound copy of data from a source device, such as system memory or a hard disk. Data acquisition. Order of volatility. The order in which volatile data should be recovered from various storage locations and devices after a security incident occurs. Order of volatility. Dump. A file containing data captured from system memory. Dump. DD command. Linux command that makes a bit-by-bit copy of an input file, typically used for disk managing. DD command. Timeline. In digital forensics, a tool that shows the sequence of file system events within a source image in a graphical format. Timeline. Provenance. In digital forensics, being able to trace the source of evidence to a crime scene and show that it has not been tampered with. Provenance. Write blocker. A forensic tool to prevent the capture of analysis device or workstation from changing data on a target disk or media. Write blocker. Chain of custody. Record of handling evidence from collection to presentation in court to disposal. Chain of custody. Reporting. A forensics process that summarizes significant contents of digital data using open, repeatable, and unbiased methods and tools. Reporting. E-discovery. Procedures and tools to collect, preserve, and analyze digital evidence. E-discovery. Dashboard. A console presenting selected information in an easily digestible format, such as visualization. Dashboard. Visualizations. A widget showing records or metrics in a visual format such as a graph or table. Visualizations. Log data. Operating system and application software can be configured to log events automatically. This provides valuable troubleshooting information. Security logs provide an audit trail of actions performed on the system, as well as warning of suspicious activity. It is important that log configuration and files be made tamper-proof. Log data. Metadata. Information stored or recorded as a property of an object, state of a system, or transaction. Metadata. Event viewer. A Windows console related to viewing and exporting events in the Windows logging file format. Event viewer. Syslog. Application protocol and event logging format enabling different appliances and software applications to transmit logs over event records to a central server. Logs work over UDP port 514 by default. Syslog. Logs. Operating system and application software can be configured to log events automatically. This provides valuable troubleshooting information. Security logs provide an audit trail of actions performed on the system, as well as warning of suspicious activity. It is important that log configuration and files be made tamper-proof. Logs. Security logs. A target for event data related to access control, such as user authentication and privileged use. Security logs. Application logs. A target for event data relating to a specific software app or package. Application logs.